Today we're going to talk about The Lion King. You guys, The Lion King is such a good movie that we're going to do a two-part series on this. I mean, there's just too much to cover. We can't do it in one episode. It's that good. I know. So, first of all, one of the more significant moments I want to talk about in The Lion King is after Mufasa dies, right? Scar flings him into the stampede. Simba comes, tries to wake him up, and Scar comes over and he's like, the king is dead. And Simba's like, what? He's like, what are we gonna tell your mother? He's like, what do I do? He's like, run. Run, Simba, never return. And Simba takes off. This is a profound moment because it changes Simba's life for the rest of the movie, right? And I think we actually, as humans, have moments like this in our childhood and we just don't remember, or we do remember, and we're still walking out a limp from some of that, you know? There are pivotal moments in our lives where something happens, typically something negative happens. I mean, it happens for the good stuff too, but something negative happens, and then we're looking for an answer, for an explanation. We're looking for guidance. What do we do, right? Simba's displaying exactly how we are in those moments. What do I do? And then the voice of counsel that comes in that moment determines what will happen, in some cases, for the rest of our lives. So in this case, his evil, usurping uncle tells him to run, to embrace shame, to be an outcast and take off and never come back. Sometimes there are moments where we experience the death of something, or something happens that shouldn't have, and we feel super exposed and vulnerable, and we're like, we need an answer, right? 3 hyenas appear from the background, and Scar's sitting there without flinching and just says, kill him. And they take off to go kill Simba, right? And we see them chase him through the elephant graveyard and all that. That's absolutely what happens in the spirit. So the enemy convinces you that something is true, you need to do something, you need to not do something, or whatever, and then we agree, we obey that counsel, and then the same spirit that gave us the idea to protect ourselves, to be safe, to fix the problem, sends destruction to destroy us in our place of vulnerability and lack of foundation to stand on. Crazy. That's such a profound moment. It's so real for so many of us, more often than we think. It's amazing. Another interesting part of this story that I wanted to point out, that obviously for kids, it's a playful, fun part of the story, but if you look at this, especially with any level of responsibility and ownership in your life, this is like a terrible part of Simba's journey. He meets these 2 homeless dudes, Timon and Pumbaa. These 2 free spirits who have no cares in the world, right? They have no responsibilities, they can't hold a job, they're eating bugs, and their motto is Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days, right? These 2 vagabonds teach this prince, who's been excommunicated, if you will, how to become carefree, or what I'd like to say, negligent and irresponsible. That's not like the fun, playful side of this story, but absolutely what's happening in this colorful, Toontown moment in Simba's life is he's learning how to let go of who he is and what actually matters in his life. He's divorcing from his purpose, and it's celebrated, and it's something that we all get as kids loved at this moment. We sing the song and it's so much fun, but actually what's happening is Simba is becoming somebody else, somebody he was never intended to be, and he's embracing values and practices that do not serve him or set him up for success in what he's supposed to accomplish in his life. So I don't want to knock on this and be super critical and people shouldn't sing this song or shouldn't watch this part of the movie. I'm not saying that, but we do want to recognize this part of his journey is where the sabotage furthers, and he starts to create a value system around his complacency, around his apathy. That happens in life. I mean, excuses galore. It doesn't matter what age you're in, there are so many grown adults running around with this Hakuna Matata statement, this dogma, this value that excuses them from responsibility, from taking hold of what belongs to them and who they're supposed to be in whatever environment they're in, and they settle for a lesser version of that person they're supposed to be because it's easier, because it costs them less, because it's safer, because it's more carefree or whatever. And it even gets worse when we start raising this as a value and as an attribute to be desired. Oh, I'm being responsible, I'm being mature, I'm being an adult, I'm being safe, I'm being smart, I'm being cautious, when actually we're being fearful and negligent. And we'll get into the next episode, Simba's recovery from this, the redemption and the repentance and the coming back to who he is. But this is the fall where Simba starts to find a new place to be occupied by, where he just doesn't have an identity, doesn't have a purpose. and it's all chill, bro. I hate that. He starts to see a change in this narrative when he's confronted with the Nala. Nala comes into the story later, right? His childhood best friend, and is shocked and confused at what she's observing. Like, who is this person? Like, why is he saying these things? How is this who Simba has become? Because the Simba she remembers was like being groomed to rule the kingdom. He used to be this dude, and now he's all like smoking weed and laying around and doesn't have a job and doesn't care about anything. And she's like, who are you? Who is this guy? And she just basically tells him like, I'm really disappointed because this person I don't recognize. And what we have to realize is Nala is his best friend still. She's the one who actually cares about this person and actually wants to see him be who he's supposed to be. Timon and Pumbaa, bless their little hearts, they don't give a crap about Simba. This is not about Simba. They don't care about him in their journey with him up to this point. They're just trying to pull him into their own dogma of what they think is great and finding meaning in their feelings and their experience. Nala's like, no, you're here for something more than just feeling good. You're supposed to be bringing something better to the table, and I can't settle on or be okay with this, like this dude, this fake version of you. And she's right in that. Her indignation and her offense to this is appropriate because she's still lined up with the truth. Nala still knows what's supposed to be happening and hasn't let it go. She still has hope. She still cares. She's still in this to win. Love that. We all need Nalas in our lives. And not necessarily people we fall in love with, although that's great too, but friends who have the guts and the care enough to confront us, to disrupt our rhythm, our excuses, our complacency, our whatever, and to tell us like, hey, this person you're giving me, this is not the person that I knew. This is not the person that I know. This is not the person that you were designed to be. And they expect better from us. And sometimes it can feel like, you know, maybe they're coming from a place of like condescension, or maybe they think they're better than us, or they're on their high horse, and we can get all offended and defensive against people who would have a better standard for us. But the champion in you would actually recognize the value that's being placed on you, and their confrontation is actual respect, not that other stuff, if they're coming from love. We all need people like Nala in our lives who are willing to get in the way and to say the things that we don't want to hear and to challenge us to be brave again and to say yes to the person that we were always supposed to be. I love this movie, you guys. Let's tune in for the next one. We're going to get into some of the depth of this amazing story. So like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. We want to know what you think. And remember, you guys, when you're watching a movie, you're never alone.